Today we're going to talk about Earth's days, years, and seasons. All right, Earth's day. The spinning of a planet on its axis is called rotation. So let's look at the picture. We have two objects in the picture that are the biggest. We have what would be the sun, a star, and then we have our Earth. And if you notice, it is moving. This movement is called rotation. It is rotating on its axis, as in the definition. The axis is an imaginary line that would come from up here at the North Pole all the way through to the South Pole. Now, the Earth completes a rotation, or it rotates one time every 24 hours, which would equal one day. Technically, it rotates every 23 hours and 56 minutes, but who's counting? Now, if you notice, it rotates in a counterclockwise motion, meaning it spins from left to right. That's also why the sun rises in the east. In the morning, it gets sunlight in the east before it gets sunlight in the west, and why it sets in the west. So if you're over here, you're going to see the sun sooner than you are here. That's why cities like New York are ahead in time of cities like Los Angeles on the west coast. The side of the Earth facing the sun is experiencing daytime. So in this image, this side obviously would be experiencing daytime. The side facing away from the sun is experiencing nighttime. So roughly there are approximately 12 hours and 12 hours. Keeping in mind, because we do tilt, that those times will change some throughout the various seasons. All right, Earth's year. The motion of a body traveling around another body in space is called revolution. Often it's referred to as orbit as well. But revolution is what's being demonstrated in this image to the right. If you see our sun in the middle, and you see the Earth is moving around the sun. So if you were to stand in the middle of the ground and have somebody walk around you, the person walking around you would be completing a revolution or revolving. It takes Earth approximately 365 days to complete one revolution, meaning from one point to that point again, it takes 365 days. Technically, it's 365 and 1/4, or 0.25, which is why every 4 years we have a leap year. 0.25 4 times equals 1. The orbit around the sun is in an ellipse shape, which is an oval. If you notice, it's not going in a perfect circle. It's actually kind of elongated on the two left and right sides. If you look carefully, you'll also see that this Earth is actually spinning, and that spinning is that rotation piece we talked about on the slide before. So it is not only rotating every day, but 365 rotations equals this one revolution. Now, in the northern hemisphere is going to be closer to the sun in the winter because we are tilted towards the sun. That's why we have longer daylight hours and we have a warmer temp. So let's talk about that tilt. We know that the Earth has this imaginary axis, meaning it's not technically there, but it is the axis that goes through the North Pole and through the South Pole. And we know our Earth is tilted about 23.5 degrees. So because of that tilt, the sun's direct rays are going to shine on different parts of the Earth at various times. So we are either tilted out, like this picture, or we're tilted in, like this picture. So areas experiencing the sun's direct rays, such as right here, are going to have warmer temperatures. Areas experiencing sun's indirect rays are going to have cooler ones, and colder temperatures, to be honest, in some places. So A is part of the tropics. This is Hawaii. So Hawaii is always getting those pretty good sun rays. But B, up near the Arctic Circle, is getting rays, but they're much, much less vivid and much further away. Therefore, it's going to be much colder. Now, if you are at the equator, such as this white line, notice that it's not direct like the shortest ray, but it is fairly direct. That's why the equator is pretty much equally getting that warmth all the time. And if you notice right here in this image, it does a really good job of showing something as well as the others, depending on how the sun is and how the Earth is tilted. So in this picture, this is our sun. We are tilted in the northern hemisphere away from the sun, which means we would be experiencing winter. The southern hemisphere is tilted towards it. Notice down here at the South Pole, they are always in daytime, and the North Pole is always in darkness. The opposite's true on this picture. The North Pole is tilted towards the sun, always in daytime, but the South Pole is tilted away and it's always in darkness. So this affects the amount of daylight hours an area receives. So hemispheres tilted towards the sun always are going to get more than 12 hours of daylight. So this picture has the northern hemisphere, all of the northern hemisphere tilted towards the sun. So these are the sun's rays. This hemisphere, the southern hemisphere, has it tilted away. Okay? So they're going to get less than 12 hours. Now, those few areas up at the poles, the North Pole from the Arctic Circle up to the South Pole, the Antarctic Circle down, those areas are going to get special things. So in the winter at the poles, you get 24 hours of nighttime, meaning it's called a polar night, meaning the sun never rises. It is always dark. So places like Barrow, Alaska on the Arctic Circle and anywhere above that to the north actually goes through a period where they do not see the sun for about a month at all. Like it is literally dark 24 hours a day in the winter. The opposite is true in the Antarctic or the southern hemisphere, the South Pole. So they would have 24 hours of daylight because in this image, it would be the opposite. So summer is 24 hours of daylight. If you're in the northern hemispheres where we'll focus, you would see the sun all day, meaning it may go down on the horizon, but it never sets, meaning it never truly becomes nighttime. It's called the midnight sun. And in the winter, they get their 24 hours of darkness. In this image right here, the Arctic Circle would be in summer because the northern hemisphere is towards the sun, and they would be suffering or experiencing, depending on how you look at it, the 24 hours of midnight sun, meaning the sun never truly goes down. Where the Antarctic Circle down here in Antarctica is going to be in complete darkness because they are tilted completely away from the sun. So how does that tilt help create the seasons? Well, basically what happens, the Earth revolves around the sun. Depending on the direct rays and how they're shining on those different areas, depend on what the temperatures are going to correspond with. So if you're getting direct rays, it's going to be summer or warm temperatures. If you're getting indirect rays, it's going to be winter or much cooler or colder temperatures. Again, latitude going further north or further south is also going to play a role. Remember what I said about the equator? The equator, this red line going across right here and right here, always gets some form of direct rays. That's why it's always warm in the tropical regions. Anywhere between the Tropic of Capricorn and the Tropic of Cancer pretty much stays warm year round. It may get hotter, but it's still warm all the time. So this is June 22nd or June 21st, give or take, is approximately what we would call the summer solstice. That's when the northern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun and it's receiving completely direct rays. So that's when you have your longest daylight hours. In the flip side over here, this is December 22nd, and this is when the southern hemisphere is towards the sun and the northern hemisphere is away. This also explains why we have opposite seasons between the two hemispheres. If it is summer here in the northern hemisphere, it is actually winter in the southern hemisphere. So June, July, and August in places like Brazil are actually their winter seasons because they are away from the sun. Where June, July, and August in the northern hemisphere are 3 of our hottest months because it's summer. On the flip side, in December in the northern hemisphere, December, January, February, into March, those are our winter months. In the southern hemisphere, those are their summer months. They are completely opposite of us. All right, we also have something called the equinoxes, the autumnal equinox and the vernal equinox. So around September 22nd or March 22nd, the direct rays are on the equator. And basically what happens is you get equal sunlight in both the hemispheres, meaning you have about approximately 12 hours of daylight and 12 hours of darkness. And because of that, it's equal amounts. They give it the name, the equinox. And here's an image to show you. Focusing on the northern hemisphere, tilted towards the sun, leads into the beginning of summer. When we're even, you see this whole side's in daylight. That's pretty much the equinox. That leads us into autumn or fall. When we are tilted away from the sun, it is winter. And then when we have that equalness, see this half's in darkness and that half is in daylight, that's our equinox. Vernal means spring, and that would lead us in spring all the way back up to summer.